On the night of May 14, 1988, a Kentucky factory worker drove his black Toyota pickup while intoxicated down the wrong side of Interstate 71, head-on into a school bus. The bus, loaded with 63 children, burst into flames. 24 children were trapped inside and died in the fire. 3 of the 4 adults on board perished with them. Among the children who escaped, 12 suffered terrible burns. This is an article that was written by James S. Kennan at People.com. There are almost 30 people who die every day in a car crash due to driving under the influence, or DUI. Drunk driving accidents is the cause and effect situation. Therefore, there are so many ways to avoid the effect by terminating the cause. Drunk driving has killed hundreds, and it will kill hundreds more. It is an easy thing to avoid, and by doing so, you could save a life. This is an audio clip of some of the sounds that could be heard in a car accident caused by drunk driving. Drunk driving accidents can be documented as early as 1897, when the first recorded drunk driving arrest was made. It was a man named George Smith who drove a taxicab in London as a living. One night, Smith was drinking and driving and crashed into a building. After he was arrested for drunk driving, he eventually pled guilty to the charge. He was sentenced to pay 25 shillings. I found this story from drunkdrivingprevention.edu. This proves that drunk driving has been a problem in our society for a very long time, and over the years, the result of it has become much worse. There are many ways that we can help reduce this serious problem. People will go out drinking at a bar, and even though they are intoxicated, they will drive themselves home because they simply want to get home and they do not think of the consequences of their actions. This is something that should be prevented by the workers of the restaurant or bar that the intoxicated person was at. Business owners who sell alcohol should be required not to allow those who have been drinking to drive home. And if they cannot convince them, then they will have to call the police and inform them that there's a drunk driver on the road. By doing this will hopefully show people who are drinking and driving that the police and everyone else is taking this problem very seriously. Not only are the people who have been drinking get harmed from being on the roads while intoxicated, but according to NHTSA.gov, hundreds of thousands of people are killed or injured each year due to being hit by a drunk driver. These people have done nothing wrong. They followed all the laws and were simply in the wrong place at the wrong time. How is this fair that they have to suffer from other people's mistakes? To help prevent themselves from getting into an accident, all drivers need to be more aware of their surroundings. And if they see a driver that doesn't seem to be completely there, they need to notify the police before somebody gets hurt. Unsafe and drunk drivers are very common, and it is our job as the other people on the road to be aware of them. Drunk driving affects all people involved, including families. This video shows the effects of drunk driving had on a family.
June 5th, 2004 was the worst day of Linda Chapman's life.
We were at a wedding out in Farley, Iowa.
What started out as a celebration of new beginnings ended in the worst way.
She was having a good time. And I said to her, "You're not driving by any means, are you?" She said, "Oh, God, no, Mom. I wouldn't drive." She says, "It cost me everything I've earned."
Nikki wasn't the only driver on the road that night. She was killed by a drunk driver.
His 3/4-ton truck hit a medium, crossed the 4-lane highway, became airborne and landed directly on their SUV.
The driver was charged with vehicular manslaughter and given 2 25-year prison sentences. But Linda was sentenced as well.
I have to live with a death sentence. I can only go to a grave to visit my daughter.
Now Linda knows there are some things you never forget.
There's not a night that I don't go to bed and I think about my daughter and that violent death. All caused because one young man thought he could drink and drive.
And to honor Nikki's memory, Linda tells her story, hoping it will save other families the pain of losing a loved one.
This should have never happened. This was a completely preventable death.
Many of the people that have been hurt in a drunk driving accident are in the passenger seat. There are people who will go out drinking with their friends and not even think about how they're going to get home. Know the crowd that you're going out with. If there is any chance that you and your friends are going to get drunk and have to drive home, make sure that there's always a designated driver. Never get into a car with a drunk person driving. According to protectyourselffromdrunkdriving.edu, one way to tell if your driver is drunk is if they are weaving or zigzagging across the road. If this occurs, be sure to get out of that car as soon as possible for your own safety and for safety of others on the road. All passengers need to know that they should never get into a car with a drunk driver, but many of them don't understand the dangers of drunk driving. Even though drunk driving has become very common, there are still people who are not aware of it. According to postdom.edu, teens have a higher chance of crashing if they drink, even if they don't have very much alcohol. Have a serious talk with teens, family members, or friends who have been known for drinking a lot about the dangers of drunk driving. You could save a life. There is a new business in St. Louis called Scooter Steve. If you're out somewhere and you've had a lot to drink, you can call Scooter Steve, and two people will come and pick you up. One of them will drive your car back to your house with you in it, and the other will follow with a scooter. That way you can get home and still have your car. This makes it very convenient and easy to get home when drinking and driving, and it gives you no excuse for driving on the roads while intoxicated. Many people do not understand the true dangers of drinking and driving. Some people may argue that by saying this, I am taking away what they think is their right to drink alcohol and whatever else they want. However, the fact is that these people who say this are those who are most likely to get into a drunk driving accident. I feel as if there could be no qualifiers or arguments for the situation. If people are in danger, then drinking and driving needs to come to an end. I am not stating that no one should ever go out and drink. I am only saying that those who do should not drive while intoxicated. A driver killed 24 children because he didn't think twice and went on the road while intoxicated. All of those children had families, and all of those families were affected. There are many ways to avoid accidents like this. Never go on the roads after drinking or with another person who has consumed alcohol. And make sure that as you are driving in a car, you stay alert and inform the police if anything about another driver seems unsafe. Now that you know the information about how to avoid drunk driving, I challenge you to take this knowledge and inform your family and friends. You could save a life.